Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is Hard TFS. For those of you that are new, welcome. Hit the like button, subscribe. Do appreciate you guys' support on this channel. We're getting close to 500 subscribers, so really appreciate all you guys tuning in, liking the video, subscribing. I make daily NBA prize pick videos as well as daily NBA DraftKings Slate breakdowns. So a lot of good content for you guys to enjoy. Definitely make sure to follow me on Twitter as well. Hard TFS, putting up some extra prize pick plays, my DFS core plays, just talking through certain things that pop up over the course of the day when it comes to injury news. Was expecting a huge game from Marcus Smart. Really happy that he was back. So if you played him, you were in pretty good standing. Let's go to my lineup from last night. I'm super frustrated. I missed cash by I think 12 points. But the reason why I'm frustrated is I had Marcus Smart in the captain spot, was all over him today, really liked him, and then it came down to the last 2 minutes. I just kept going back and forth. I was like, Horford's gonna be super low owned, coming off of being sick. People are not going to want to play him. His ownership's gonna be so much lower than Smart's. I was like, I have to go him at captain just in case he does get close to a triple double from 10 points, his normal amount of rebounds and a few assists, maybe get some blocks and steals. I was like, he could have a really solid game, 40, 45 fantasy points. He doesn't even really have to score too much to get there. Unfortunately, I switched at the last second, put Smart in the utility spot, switched him around, had Smart in the captain, switched him to utility, moved Horford in the captain. And that's what kind of screwed me. Jimmy was solid, Tatum was solid, but yeah, I would have easily cashed. I think I would have been at least 2 times, if not 3 times my money. Really solid if I had Smart in the spot. So hopefully some of you guys listened to me with saying that, I was expecting Smart to have a fantastic day. End up doing that, as you can see, 64 fantasy points, almost a triple double. Was playing out of his mind. But everyone else on the Heat sucks. They just suck. Bam sucks. Tyler sucks. Dedmon sucks. The whole team sucks. It's pretty much Jimmy versus the Celtics, which is unfortunate for him. But yeah, hopefully you guys, tuned in to my Twitter, expecting, a huge game from Marcus Smart, as you can see right there, and he ended up delivering. I just wish I stuck with my gut and played him in the captain spot and not switch it at the last second. But, you win some, you lose some. On to tomorrow's game, because I'm recording this the night before. But let's go on to this slate. Dallas versus Golden State. Obviously, the last game, or this first game of the series, the game blew out. The Mavericks could not hit a shot. They were 3 of 30 at halftime from 3. In the first quarter alone, Luka had, I think, 8 or 9 assist attempts, and he only got 2. They just couldn't hit a shot. No one made a shot, and then the game ended up blowing out in the third quarter, and they did lose, a good amount of opportunities. I mean, the minutes were still there, if you look at the box score, but it wasn't as close as it looks. The last, they got 4 minutes from the end of the third into the fourth. These starters before they just pulled everyone. They weren't really looking to score. Luka kind of stopped trying after the, 5 minutes into the third, just because they were getting blown out by so much. But on to the slate. Luka, obviously, it's the same as last slate. Luka or Steph is the most optimal play in captain for obvious reasons. So it just comes down to if you want to go the optimal route with them. You can still get different. Now, don't let me lead you astray. You can still get different if you put Luka and Steph in the captain spot. It's just a lot harder, obviously, because you're very limited. So Luka, you go, let's just do Luka in the captain spot. You're left with 5,900 left over. I mean, you're going to need Steph. Most likely every game he's going to be probably the top performer on the Golden State side. So you have him in there. You're only left with 4,500 left over for 4 more spots. So it's really hard to start, fitting guys in there because everyone's pretty priced up. I mean, you'd have to go down to a guy like Otto Porter Jr. You're still not left with much more. You'd have to throw in Kleber. Who else? 47 left 100. You'd need to get Looney, and then you'd have 4,600. Who are you gonna throw there? Powell. That's just a terrible lineup. The odds of these guys doing well enough to be able to get you to cash is not worth it. So that's why I like getting riskier. For today, Marcus Smart was the most optimal captain. Just one more shout out to my Twitter. Make sure to follow me there. I was talking about, where is it? I like in contrarian tonight, throwing Bam, Hero, Smart, or Horford in the captain spot. I had Smart, switched to Horford, but it's one of those things where the secondary guys, they do have a path to be in this winning lineup, and that's what Marcus Smart was today. He was in the winning lineup. He was the winning captain. So, don't be afraid to take a shot on guys like. It's a little bit different on this side, obviously, because it's pretty much going through Luka on the Mavs side and Steph on the Golden State side. So you're going to have to kind of find and jam in guys in the captain spot if you want to get different. So let's just go through the normal plays. Luka, obviously, we know what Luka does. Think you have to have him in your lineup, either in the utility or in the captain. Steph, I really do think you need him in the utility as well. Clay, I'll mention, he's that guy that will play, pretty much the whole game. It just comes down if he's hitting the shots. He really picked up in the second half. The game blew out. He's been okay this series. Or obviously it's been one game, but he's been okay in the playoffs is what I meant to say. He's been scoring the ball well, but it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel worth it paying $9,200 for a guy that's going to, get most of his fantasy points from scoring the ball. Obviously he can have a great shooting game, but $9,200 feels just very expensive for Klay Thompson. He's been good at getting those peripheral stats. As you can see, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks. But I don't know if I trust it. He's been a little iffy at times. $9,200 is a little too expensive, but it's one of those things. That's what everyone's thinking. So how do you, get contrarian off that? You play him. Obviously, it's not the most optimal with how he's playing right now, but he's going to have super low ownership at that price at $9,200. No one's going to want to play him. And he does have a path of, getting 30 plus, maybe even 40 plus fantasy points, as you can see. So if you want to get contrarian, definitely think you should consider Klay Thompson. Jalen Brunson, he's the, second-hand man to Luka. He's most likely going to be the one that's stepping up offensively if Luka is not, or if Luka needs help. So obviously you can put Brunson in the captain spot. He's a little bit scoring dependent at times. He's been stepping up when it comes to rebounds and occasionally assists. Like he can't get you a steal or two as well, but you really need him to be scoring well for him to be in the captain spot and make it and have it be worth it. But he's another decent option. Draymond Green's a guy you could definitely take a shot on. 31 fantasy points last game. Obviously, he doesn't have that ceiling or upside with the points. He scored 18 points or 14 points. That was like his highest in the past since like Christmas, basically 16. So he's really limited when it comes to points, but it's the rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, all that can, kind of skyrocket for him. That's why he's, not going to be, he'll be probably like a 2% owned captain for tomorrow, but he can definitely get you there just by those peripheral stats. Obviously, I don't feel great about it. I'd rather get to a guy like Poole in the captain spot. His minutes have been down a little bit. Did lose probably like 5 or 6 minutes due to the blowout. But just with his rotation coming off the bench, even with Klay having a bad game, they kind of, not limited Poole, but he just wasn't as involved as you'd like to see. He scored well, which is good. 19, 3, and 2. But we're not seeing like those Poole games where he's coming off scoring like 20 with 5 rebounds or 3 rebounds, 5 assists, or 27, 4, and 2, 31, 8, and 9. Now, he can have those games. That's why I like him as a captain play, because this game, where was it? 31, 8, and 9. That was when he returned to the bench role, came off the bench, I believe. I think it was off the bench. And had, back-to-back really good games. So he's probably my favorite play out of this kind of mid-range, cheaper options off of Steph, and Luka as the, favorite optimal captain for me, or not optimal, favorite captain play for me. Who else we got here? Wiggins. I was, very high on Wiggins last slate. He did really well. 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, a steal. Now he is a little bit prone to foul trouble now with having to guard Luka a good amount of the game. Him and Draymond Green are going to be switching off him. As we saw, Draymond got into foul trouble, so Andrew Wiggins was guarding Luka for a lot of the game. Did very well, which is, surprising. Obviously, Andrew Wiggins, all-star player. I think people don't give him the credit he deserves, but he's a pretty good defender. He was looking to score the ball as well. Like Golden State, they were trying to run Golden State off the 3-point line. They did well, but that just leaves wide open driving lanes. Guys like Andrew Wiggins to go one-on-one with Luka at the top of the key, get to the basket easily. So I think Andrew Wiggins, there's a lot more opportunity for him to do well in the series than there was in the previous series. So I don't mind going back to him at 7,600. Another guy you could definitely take a shot on for the optimal captain spot, just because his minutes are very secure. 35 plus minutes. Just a little bit foul prone when it comes to guarding Luka. Dinwiddie is just a little too score independent for me. Came off the bench, thought it was going to be kind of like a repeat of Game 7 versus Phoenix, but he kind of cooled off. 22 fantasy points, obviously at 6,800 is not what you want. He's pretty score independent at times, which you saw last game. So I think it's just more of like a last second play if you want to play him. But I'd rather get to Finney Smith, who's had some very, very bad games, 4 bad games in a row. As you can see before that, he was the guy who was, let's see, the Utah series, playing 40 plus minutes, 28 fantasy points, 23, 35, 25, 27, 41. And then in the Phoenix, 25, 6, 26, 41, 14, 14. So he does have a path to get you at least 20, mid-20s, even to the 30 fantasy point range. Obviously, we haven't seen the past 4 games, but I do like to mention that he's a guy that can get you some, points, some rebounds, some assists, a blocker, a steal. So don't mind getting to Dinwiddie. Finney Smith at 6,600. Reggie Bullock is probably going to be pretty popular, only 5K. He's not going to score the ball a ton. I mean, he can shoot it at times, but kind of expect his normal, maybe 12 points, a couple rebounds, a couple assists, a steal or 2 maybe at most. He's going to play probably the whole game when it comes to defending Steph. Maybe it's Poole, maybe it's Clay, but he's mostly guarded up on Steph. So 5K for him, it looks like a decent option. Looney looks like he's firmly in play. They started him. He played 28 minutes. Not going to score the ball a ton. I'd expect 10 to be kind of the most he scores this series unless they really try to limit the other guys and Looney's just wide open down below and getting a ton of offensive rebounds. But he does have a lot of rebounding opportunities, assists. He can get you some blocks. Slightly an outlier too, but I don't mind going to him at 4,800. If he's going to get, 25 plus minutes, even 20 plus against Dallas, I do think there's a good amount of opportunities for rebounds and some assists for Looney to pay off that price of 4,800. Kleber looks like a decent play. I do think a lot of ownership's going to get off him. He only played 19 minutes, was in some foul trouble, shot it only 4 times, 1 of 4. Not great. He's a guy that, should see probably 30 plus minutes, can hit the 3, can rebound well, can get you some blocks. So 4,600. I like going back to Kleber in the spot. Pretty much all the guys on the Dallas Mavericks side, besides, I guess, Luka and Brunson, were just horrendous. They didn't hit any shots. So I like loading back up on the Dallas Mavericks side today. Otto Porter, going to be super popular. His price hasn't moved. He's a guy who's going to come in and probably get, 10 points, maybe 7 rebounds. It's kind of like his norm right now. 12 points, 2 and 3, 13, 4 and 3, 4, 9 and 2. So he's a guy who's going to come in, play low to mid 20s minutes, kind of do a little bit of everything when it comes to scoring, rebounding, assist, maybe a steal or 2. So 4,200, who probably looks like the best value play today. Powell is just kind of out of the rotation. Even if he does play close to 20 minutes, he's not going to do much. More of just like a dart throw if you want to get a little bit different. But I just don't think you have to do it. Just not worth it for me at 3,200. Bertans, Pinson, Iguodala is questionable. If he does play, I'd say maybe he gets 15 minutes at most, so probably limit him a little bit. Maybe even if he plays 20, I just don't think he's valuable as of right now. I just think you have to wait a game to see how many minutes he gets. Kuminga, I thought maybe he'd get some run. He didn't. If Kevon Looney or Draymond Green, either one of them gets in super foul trouble, if they both do, or one of them gets injured, you can definitely expect to see Kuminga get some run. A guy like Nemanja would get some run, but obviously you can't really expect those things to happen. So I would stay away from those guys for right now. Just kind of focused on the stars, but I think I'm going to go back to the Poole, Mr. Poole, as my captain for tomorrow. We'll give you guys a little bit of an early core, even though this is the night before. But yeah, I really like Jordan Poole, 12K as the captain. Obviously has a lot of room, has the ceiling that you want as a captain. Not as safe as the floor as you'd like to see, especially coming off the bench. Especially if those guys like Steph and Clay are hot, they're not going to force feed Poole, which you kind of need. But even if those guys do get hot, it does open up some areas for Poole to shoot threes, not as heavily guarded. So I really like Poole as captain. He's kind of like that Marcus Smart play for me tonight for tomorrow's games. Really like Poole. Who else do I like? I really like getting to Kleber. I do think he's going to have a bounce back spot. Obviously, I do think you have to play Luka. Nice pairing of those two, because if they get in the pick and roll, pass it out to Kleber, hit those threes. Really like that pairing. It's hard not to get to Andrew Wiggins in this spot, as I mentioned. 7,600. Going to play probably 35 plus minutes. As you can see, he's consistently shooting the ball in the mid-teens, which you do like. Shot the 3 of 8 last game. Usually he shoots okay. He can go on streaks where he doesn't shoot it well, but he's aggressive on the offensive end. Usually decent at getting you at least 6, 7, 8 boards. So I really like Andrew Wiggins in the spot. Do think they're going to use him a lot to guard Luka. Obviously some foul trouble, but I mean he has a path to get you mid 30 fancy points, which I do really like. And that I'm going to save that for now as my 4 core players heading into tomorrow. Maybe things change, we'll see, but this is what I like as right now. Poole is my captain, Kleber, Doncic, and then Wiggins, and then I'll figure out the other 2. Obviously, it leaves you 6,100 left over, so you can get a little bit different. Obviously, if you want to take Wiggins out, you can throw in Steph, but then you have to pay down for a guy like Powell, which is kind of gross. So that's what I'm going with as of right now. Those 3/4 guys. If you like the video, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the support. Obviously, now that these are just kind of one game showdown slates, it's kind of hard to get different, especially when you know pretty much where all the scoring's coming from, especially on a very score independent team like the Mavericks, where it's pretty much just Luka, and then once he's out, it goes to Brunson or Dinwiddie. But that's kind of how you kind of get different, is you kind of have to think about the little bit less optimal players. Hopefully they have a good game like Poole, and then fill it in with the studs around that. So that's the route I'm going. Once again, if you like the video, do appreciate if you throw a like. Throw me a subscription as well, and then turn on the notification bell. Do appreciate all your support, and I'll see you guys in a little bit with the NBA Prize Pick video. Thank you guys. Peace.